US has moved a bill to challenge the enforcement of Sharia and blasphemy law in Nigeria. Give a reason for doing so. Of course, US, we know, have been hearing many things happening in Nigeria. They are seeing it for a long time. It's never started today. Even the case of Deborah and all those people killed in northern Nigeria, not west, not east, not central, every time. But this time around, they are preparing a bill against that blasphemy and Sharia law, because they are seeing it as attitude geared towards Christians, minority in Nigeria. Now, Ted Cruz, a US maker, said, "I am deeply gratified to President Trump for making this determination. I have fought for years to counter the slaughter and persecution of Christians in Nigeria, and this year introduced legislation that will lock in the designation made today," he said. Mr. Cruz added that the proposed bill would create sanctions and accountability measures for Nigerian leaders who implement or support blasphemy and Sharia law. Today's designation is a critical step in holding accountable and challenging the behavior of Nigerian officials who have facilitated and created an environment conducive to the outrage in Nigeria. Christians in Nigeria are crying every time. US has a lot on its table. I have fought for years to counter this. This is what is actually happening now. We are going into the details to show you what America are preparing right now. The Ted Cruz-led US legislation titled Nigerian Religious Freedom Accountability Act of 2025. This is what is happening in America now. They have created a very big bill for this blasphemy and persecution of Christians in Nigeria, which is titled Nigeria Religious Freedom Accountability Act of 2025. This is what is happening right now, which marks sharp escalation in international pressure on Nigeria's religious freedom record. Launched in US Senate on September 9, 2025, the bill proposes to impose targeted sanctions on Nigerian officials who enforce or facilitate Sharia and blasphemy laws or tolerate extremist violence. At its core, the bill asserts that Nigeria's Christian minority and other religious minorities face institutionalized discrimination through blasphemy status and parallel Sharia law panel systems in 12 states, and they are having records of everything that have happened in Nigeria and the ones yet to happen. They have record of everything. That is the problem, and this is what many Nigerians, especially these leaders, never know. They have record of everything happening in Nigeria. They never know. So we are going into the details now to show you more of what America are planning against persecution of Christians and blasphemy in Nigeria right now. So if you have never subscribed, please kindly subscribe on this very channel for more updates. The key provisions are stated. 1. A requirement for the US Secretary of State to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern, CPC, for religious freedom violation. 1. 2. Annual reporting and sanction mandates against named Nigerian state and federal officials complicit in blasphemy enforcement or jihadist violence. Retention of terrorism entity designations for Boko Haram and ISIS West African and expanded US. Oversight of religious violence cases in Nigeria. Cruz characterized the bill as a response to widespread execution of Christians in Nigeria, forced submission to Sharia, blasphemy laws, and government inactions. For Nigeria's domestic policies, the legislation raises urgent question: will the government reform blasphemy and Sharia law? Will officials implicated face real accountability, or will the bill deepen trust between Nigerian government and international allies? Ultimately, Cruz bill casts Nigeria's internal religious and legal mechanisms into the global spotlight. Regardless of its outcome in Congress, the legislative initiative is already shaping debates inside Nigeria about law, religion, and national identity. The Nigerian government, however, has strongly rejected the bill's premise. Officials argue the law misrepresents Nigeria's multi-religious reality, risks diplomatic harm, and overlooks the broader security context. Insurgency, banditry, farmers' header violence. Critics of the US move warn the bill may destabilize Nigeria's diplomatic tie with Washington, complicate aid flows, and fuel internal polarization between Christian and Muslim communities. From Nigeria's perspective, the legislation is seen by some as Western interference, an example of foreign lawmakers prescribing policy without full grasp of local dynamics. Some Nigerian lawmakers contend that many victims of religious violence are themselves Muslim, and that the focus on Christians alone is selective. Yet the bill has gained traction among US evangelical and human rights groups, who see it as overdue accountability for a nation deemed one of the most dangerous for religion minorities. Should it pass, the act would mark a significant shift in how the US monitors Nigeria, not merely for counter-terrorism but for governance, human rights, and religious freedom compliance. It would open the door to access freezes, visa bans, and even broader international pressure. This is what is happening now, and many people are happy about this because it will check excesses of our leaders, corrupt officials, and these bad people we have in Nigeria. Because most of them have started crying over this. They don't want this at all. Most of them have started seriously crying. Remember Deborah, who was killed some time ago? Nothing has been done about it. Those people that killed Deborah are walking freely. Most of them are still walking freely. Nothing have actually happened about them. And they are saying that Christians are not persecuted in Nigeria. Even the Muslims themselves, some of them are even undergoing this. So it is high time, since the government cannot control the affairs of this very country, let outsiders control it. The leaders, they are still the problem of Nigeria. There's no single truth in them. There's no judicial settlement, because this our judiciary, when some certain things happens, you won't know how they handle it. They work towards the directive of the executive, which shouldn't be. That's the problem. They are not free to execute their law, to execute the laws and do the needful in judicial environment. That's the problem. So right now, America, many people are saying and want this America interference on this very Nigerian religious issue, because many people are tired. Look at what is happening in those states, and look at what this very man Sultan said some time ago, that Sharia is not about Islamizing Nigeria. But why are you raising it in some? Can you force Sharia in other states? Force it in your own state, but you refuse to force it in your own state. You want to impose it on other people by force. This is what America have seen, and many people are giving reports about this, but they do not know. So right now we are looking forward to seeing what America will still do over this very case, because they are not taking it lightly. They are pushing everything as a matter of urgency in Nigeria political hemisphere. Their eyes are now on Nigeria, and people are saying that this will cause visa ban on many people. It will cause visa ban on most of the politicians, and it will happen. Even the presidency, they are shaking because they don't want this, because it may breach the bilateral relationship between Nigeria and America. But right now, we are waiting patiently to see how it goes, how it will be sorted out. So if you have never subscribed, kindly subscribe to this very channel now for more updates on this and many other things. Thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend ahead. Enjoy your day.